Gore is nothing new to the horror genre, especially after the slasher boom, where each subsequent entry in the genre tried to top the previous releases by showing off even more brutal kills and pushing the censor board to its limits by covering the screen in buckets of blood. However, there are some films that are simply just drenched in it, making you question how much of the life-giving liquid is easily coursing through our easily punctured meat suits. Before we begin, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Every new sub helps us achieve our goal and keeps us motivated to create new content. With that being said, I'm your host Jamie, and here are the 10 bloodiest horror films. Number 1. Evil Dead Rise. Evil Dead Rise is a standalone film in the Evil Dead series. It's produced by original creator and director Sam Raimi, as well as Bruce Campbell, best known for playing Ash in the original films and TV series. The story revolves around a single mother and her children living in a typical mundane day when her sister comes to visit, and soon after, all hell breaks loose. Evil Dead Rise hints that it is connected to the original series, as well as director Fede Alvarez's 2013 reboot, which holds the record for most fake blood used in any film, a reeling 50,000 gallons. Evil Dead Rise has plenty of nods to the rest of the franchise as well, and it was confirmed by director Lee Cronin that all 5 Evil Dead films are in the same universe. The film brings the franchise out of the cabin in the woods setting and into an apartment complex, enabling the filmmakers to explore new ways to invoke tension and horror. The atmosphere is claustrophobic and unnerving. Much like its predecessor, it contains copious amounts of brutal, over-the-top gore. In the case of Evil Dead Rise, it allegedly used about 6,500 gallons of fake blood, which is still an insane amount. The signature Evil Dead style is all there with intense dramatic visuals and makeup. Neither Alvarez nor Cronin have been able to fully emulate Raimi's kinetic camera style though. The film also tries to keep its distance from the campier aspect of the series. Evil Dead Rise has a fairly tight script that is coerced together by themes of motherhood with its ups, downs, and challenges. Although the exploration of these themes is often buried under carnage, which is admittedly what we were all here for, Alyssa Sutherland, who plays the mother and lead Deadite, gives a poignant performance as a mother and a deliriously delicious performance as a Deadite. Her naturally striking facial features are only highlighted by the macabre makeup and prosthetics adorning her. Evil Dead Rise is a gloriously gory, surprisingly sentimental treat for even Evil Dead and horror fans alike. So pop on over to Max, YouTube, Sling, Google Play, Tubi, Fandango, or Prime to give it a watch. Number 2. Terrifier 2. Though Art the Clown had small beginnings, first appearing in the 2008 short film The Ninth Circle from Terrifier mastermind himself, Damien Leone, he has risen through the ranks to become a horror icon the caliber of Freddy, Jason, or Ghostface. And he's more brutal than all of them by a long shot. Art was the pièce de résistance in the 2013 horror film anthology All Hallows Eve, also directed by Leone. Art was so popular he got his own movie with 2016's Terrifier, in which he made quite a bloody impression. It only ramped up from there in Terrifier 2, which was longer, gorier, with Leone still refining his storytelling sensibilities, but still could use work as an editor. Shout out to Dead Meat Jason over at Kill Count, as they counted a staggering 27 kills for Art in the film, although many were in a dream sequence. Terrifier 2 is loaded with over-the-top, relentless, and creative kills. That is what Art the Clown was about after all. Even more so impressive is the ingenuity that went into what were almost all practical effects. Terrifier 2 had skinning, limb dismemberment, eyes blowing up, even a Tommy gun that shreds through bodies. even though those are in the dream sequence. Terrifier 2 was independently produced and distributed as unrated. It cost a humble for the film $250,000. That was a massive increase over the original mere $35,000 though. I will say, while the kills are undoubtedly creative, and while they do look good, they only teeter on looking realistic. In Terrifier 3, even less so. It's still a hell of a bloodbath of body parts you can stream on Peacock, Tubi, Pluto, Freevee, Prime, YouTube, Google Play, Redbox, or Fandango. Number 3. Piranha 3D. Splat Pack member Alexandra Aja directed this gore-filled 2010 remake of 1978's Piranha entitled Piranha 3D. This was post-Avatar 3D film. The filmmakers cashed in big by filming Piranha 3D in 3D, as this remake not only garnered positive reviews, but made $84 million worldwide on a $24 million budget. Most of the film follows the beats of a teen sex comedy or college romp. The film opens with a fisherman played by Richard Dreyfuss of Jaws fame, and a clear nod to it, fishing in a fictional lake in which an earthquake unearths an aggressive school of prehistoric piranhas. Said ravenous fish make a quick meal of the fishermen. Cut to the fictional Lake Victoria, ramping up for spring break as hormonal teens take to the beaches. The original Piranha was supposed to be a spoof or knockoff of Jaws. Piranha 3D is aware of this and is often legitimately funny with a lot of tongue-in-cheek, and cheeks and boobs and teeth. As soon as the final act, feeding frenzy, happens, the film is non-stop, unapologetically bloody, and even tragic. Not only are background characters genuinely heartbroken and crying, that they have friends dying and being mutilated by rabid piranhas, but they are victims quite literally falling apart as they are chewed through by thousands of tiny razor-sharp teeth. So catch these ferocious fish over on Tubi, Plex, YouTube, and Prime. Number 4. Cabin Fever. Another Splat Pack member, Eli Roth, gives us his seminal 2002 Cabin in the Woods type film called Cabin Fever. The phrase cabin fever refers to that sense of isolation and stir craziness one develops after being alone in a singular place for a long period of time. I don't understand this concept as it sounds preferable to being out with people, but I digress. In Cabin Fever, a group of teens visit a cabin in which they each become infected by some sort of virus that causes them to deteriorate, even decompose while alive. Skin peels, body parts fall off, insides bleed. It's like some kind of combination of a flesh-eating bacteria and Ebola. Needless to say, Cabin Fever is gruesome, and the practical gore effects are top tier. If there is anything I can give Eli Roth credit for, it is that. The characters may not be anything to write home about, but what's happening to them feels palpable. I genuinely felt bad for what was happening to them. So the film also gets points for visceral, both literally and emotionally. Side note, if any of you are a fan of Serena Vincent, who was most notable for playing the perpetually nude foreign exchange student in Not Another Teen Movie, she is in this film. So catch the fever over on YouTube, Fandango, Google Play, or Prime. Number 5. The Green Inferno. The Green Inferno is a relentless body horror film, once again from Eli Roth, who isn't afraid to savagely mutilate people on screen. When Roth is in his wheelhouse, which is body horror, he makes uninhibited gore fest that's usually also a decent film. The Green Inferno involves a group of college activists who take a trip to the Amazon to expose a corporation who's been trying to destroy the homes of native tribes. The film pays homage to the gluttony of cannibal films of the 70s, particularly Cannibal Holocaust. The Green Inferno is ripe with juicy carnage. It's got beheadings, dismemberments, eyes being ripped from sockets. The first cannibalistic scene that occurs is about midway through the film. Prior to that, we get some grisly deaths via a plane crashing, followed by arrow piercings. An indigenous cannibal tribe captures the activist that survives said plane crash. They start eating the largest guy alive before chopping him up and cooking him like he was a Christmas ham. He is chowed down on quite ravenously by the cannibals. Every body part, viscera and all, is fair game in the admirable feat of practical effects. The Green Inferno is shot particularly vibrant as the beautiful greenery of the Amazon only complements the crimson-soaked effects of the carnage. So travel on over to YouTube, Google Play, Tubi, Fandango, and Prime to stream. Number 6, Cabin in the Woods. Cabin in the Woods is a little less subtle in its meta approach than, say, Scream, as it goes straight for the throat of all sorts of horror film tropes. The script is smart and highly entertaining, with a story that is self-reflective and meta to the extreme. Cabin in the Woods is also a spectacular gore fest with purposely excessive amounts of blood and all sorts of mutilation. My personal favorite death is when a unicorn skewers one of the security personnel. Although co-writer Joss Whedon is plagued with controversy, we can appreciate he has laced this script with his wit and whimsy as he wrote it with director Drew Goddard. Goddard's directorial prowess underpins Cabin in the Woods. Even when you think you got a handle on what's going on in this cinematic thrill ride, you'll still find yourself saying, well, that escalated quickly. Cabin in the Woods sees a group of college kids take a trip to, you guessed it, a cabin in the woods. Even though this is the most quintessential of horror setups, all the characters seem logical and intelligent, at least at first. The audience is shown that the whole cabin setting is an elaborate setup, and those behind it are manipulating the environment, the characters, and sending monsters in to kill them as the sacrifice. The people who set it up are watching the protagonists scream behind closed doors. They are even taking bets on who dies by what. Allegedly, the filmmakers used 10,000 gallons of blood just in the final scene alone. So if you're looking to get washed away in a deluge of red corn syrup, do they still use it? You can stream Cabin in the Woods on Tubi, Prime, Google Play, YouTube, and Fandango. Number 7, Dead Alive. Before Peter Jackson took us on a journey through Middle-earth with his groundbreaking Lord of the Rings saga, he was known for small-budget horror films. Many are cult classics such as his film Dead Alive, or aka Braindead, first released in New Zealand in 1992. The film is often considered one of the goriest films ever and was even banned in several countries. Dead Alive is just the age-old story of an old lady getting bit by an infected rat monkey and turning into a zombie. The R-rated cut of the film is under an hour and a half and probably has a kill average every minute. The unrated version adds around 12 minutes. There is a behemoth amount of kills in this film, and I am certainly not complaining. Dead Alive is gleefully over the top, and Peter Jackson has an eye for an intriguing shot as well as intriguing kills. My personal favorite is someone gets their chest cavity ripped out, rib cage and all. Off topic, but ever since I read Star Wars Death Troopers, I've wanted to see an R-rated Star Wars film or show where someone force rips out a spine or heart. And this sequence gave me that vibe. Anyway, back to Dead Alive. It's all practical effects. Its kills may often lack realism, but they make up for it in ingenuity, and just being conceptually really epic. Dead Alive is what Peter Jackson was able to achieve with a $3 million budget. I'd actually be curious to see what he could achieve with more of a budget with a horror film. But take some time to check this out over on Prime. Number 8, Planet Terror. Planet Terror is a film that was paired with Quentin Tarantino's Death Proof for his 2007's cult feature Grindhouse. It's no surprise that directors Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez were fans of the Grindhouse films that populated lower-tier theaters in the 70s. Grindhouse films were B-films often characterized by excessive sex, gore, language, and violence, which we here at Fat Ninja are all here for. Grindhouse films were cheap films in which viewers could buy a ticket, possibly watch 3 or 4 of these films for a sitting. Tarantino wanted to give audiences in 2007 that experience, and if you saw it theatrically at the time, as I did, he succeeded almost too well. Planet Terror and Death Proof were 2 separate full-length feature films that together totaled over 3 hours. They're accompanied by a handful of fake film trailers too, most of which have actually been made into real Grindhouse-inspired films at this. Planet Terror follows a disheartened stripper, go-go dancer, Cherry Darling, played by Rose McGowan. McGowan's most notable for playing Tatum Riley in 1996's smash hit Scream, as well as Paige Matthews in WB's original feminist powerhouse, Charmed. Cherry wants to get out of town and become a comedian. At the same time she's leaving town, she runs into an old cohort, El Rey, played by Freddy Rodriguez. Rodriguez would have been best known for playing Federico Diaz in HBO's acclaimed drama 6 Feet Under at the time. In Planet Terror, infectious gas has been released onto a town during a military exchange gone wrong. The gas turns people into ravenous, boil-covered zombies. Planet Terror has plenty of gratuitous blood splatter with squibs, blood packs, and torn limbs galore. The opening scene even includes torn out testicles, and when the gas is first released, those caught in the blast have their skin melt like cheese sliding off of a pizza. The film really leans into the Grindhouse elements with perfectly hammed up performances, corny one-liners, and added film grain as well as other various color distorting filters. You can experience it on Fellow, Sling, YouTube, Google Play, Tubi, Fandango, and Prime. Number 9. House of a Thousand Corpses. Before 2003, Rob Zombie was known as a singer, songwriter, and founder of the heavy metal rock band White Zombie. He was known for bringing in elements of horror into his band's music, as well as his own personal aesthetic, so it's no surprise that his commencing film would be horror comedy specifically. House of a Thousand Corpses opens in a Texas small town horror museum and gas station run by a man with clown makeup named Captain Spaulding, played by cult horror actor Sid Haig. The gas station is being held up by a couple of masked local criminals. The tables quickly turn as Spaulding and his own cohorts brutally kill said robbers. Haig's performance is a definite highlight for this film. The opening is clearly influenced by the original Halloween's iconic opening track shot, a movie in which Zombie would later remake. House of a Thousand Corpses' set story revolves around sadistic backwoods killer, which is far more reminiscent of The Hills Have Eyes and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Said crazed killers have been capturing, maniacally torturing, and cruelly killing off tourists who pass through. Despite the copious amounts of carved bodies and excessive gore, the camp, silly one-liners, and even the lighting lean more into the comedy aesthetic. While House of a Thousand Corpses does not have the blood splatter that many of the films on this list do, the title isn't as hyperbolic. They are literal displays of skinned bodies with exposed muscle tissue and all. You can watch it over on Philo, Plex, YouTube, Fubu, Google Play, Tubi, Plex, Fandango, and Prime. Number 10. Hatchet. Though Hatchet was released in 2006, where one was more likely to see a remake than an original slasher, this is a grisly throwback to the gratuitous, gory, glory days of the 80s slasher. The story follows a group of college kids who set out on a boat tour in a Louisiana bayou. It's said to be haunted by the ghost of Victor Crowley, who is undoubtedly inspired by the hulking slasher brutes of yesteryear, like Leatherface or Jason Voorhees. Crowley himself is even played by the slasher legend Kane Hodder, who has played machete-wielding Jason 4 times, the most any has played him. Also keep your eyes peeled for the Freddy Krueger actor Robert Englund and Candyman actor Tony Todd, and those are just some of the biggies. For those Scream 3 fans out there, or alternatively, not another teen movie fans. Dion Richmond, who played Tyson in Scream 3, plays one of the college kids as well. Hatchet's narrative is straightforward and characters intentional horror archetypes. And the ensemble knows what they've signed on for and are having a lot of fun with it. After all, Hatchet is about old school slasher glee. The practical effects and epic kills probably made Tom Savini cry with delight. We've got dismemberments, slashes, jabs, bones cracking, organs being ripped out. My personal fave is the old lady whose mouth is pried wide open by Crowley's hand and breaks her jaw and basically splits her head in half. So drench yourself with all the sweet, delicious viscera available over on Tubi, Plex, Fandango, and Prime. Thanks for checking out the video. Did we leave any films off the list? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to tap that bell icon to stay up to date with our latest releases. You can reach out to us on Twitter or X at Studios Fat, or chat with us on Discord, linked below. We're also now on Blue Sky. You can find us at studiosfat.bsky.social, which will also link below. If you're really enjoying our content and want to help support us, click that join button for exclusive content, rewards, and perks. Make sure to check out our very own merch store located at fatninja.shop. All proceeds go towards our next film project, so we'd greatly appreciate it. I've been your host, Jamie. Thanks again, and see you in the next one.